And welcome everyone to another unscripted and unchained RPG review, also sometimes known as the OSR Tabletop with myself, Richard GM Bloodworth. Really good to see everyone, and I'll be checking the comments throughout the chats, throughout the time. And let's see, Ian Spires or Spears. Welcome. How's it going? Our Dragonborn, and the Ewoks of D&D. Dragonborn or D&D. Ewoks, not so much. I guess you could put anything in there that you wish, but that's that's just your own prerogative to put whatever you want in your game. But hello, and interesting question. Don't even know if that's for me. But anyway, Agile Monk, hey, how's it going, man? It's good to see you. Yes, I did give Chuck a hug for you. So it was kind of it was my first time meeting Chuck in person. So this is a Chuck Cumbo of Troll Lord Games, and you'll have to remind me, because he said you're several different types of monk, and he says to ask you what's your other monk alias. So I'll wait to hear, see that response if you're, willing to do that on chat. But anyway, yeah, it was a really great con experience. I hope that you all caught some of my daily recaps. I know I had to break it down quite a bit with the with shorts. It's a little bit harder to do a straight up live stream from hotels sometimes, and and I picked up a gimbal for my convention experience here. I got it for Christmas, and one thing that YouTube doesn't allow you to do is it doesn't allow you to do to short videos, even though that now they're 3 minutes long. It still doesn't let you do landscape, which is bizarre to me, that you have to do them in profile, and I just don't like that presentation for longer form videos, especially when you're interviewing people as well. So I'm just going to invite people onto the channel for interviews. Works out much better that way, I think, and it also allows me to give them a lot more time than just 3 minutes or so. So I'm going to keep on dabbling with that when I go to some smaller cons that there might only be a handful of vendors, and test that kind of thing out. But anyway, good to see you, and and thanks for continuing to re-up as a valued supporter, and you are indeed valued. So Spires, thank you. All right. So good evening, the Ultra American TTRPG. Hanging out before I do my live stream later. All right, cool. I'm probably I'll jump into your live stream later, so that'll be cool. And see, I usually run these things for about an hour, hour and a half or so. Now, the fact that my whole family is off tomorrow, we might actually go a little bit longer, but I'll see. I'll see whenever they're looking to turn in for the night, and I don't want to disturb them, especially my wife. She end up sleeping about 20 feet from me here, and so don't want to cause that problem. Let's see. As Parrot Monk, that's what it was. because I'm a parent behavioralist. All right, that is really quite interesting. I have never heard of that, or never met anyone that does that. That's really interesting. So, generally speaking, people aren't watching in landscape mode. The phone is the most common device. Yeah, but anytime that people are doing streams, they, you know, they do them in landscape mode. It just looks better. You actually get a better picture of everything. So let me readjust myself here. I seem to be kind of lower. I might have to adjust my camera on this because it tends to, throw this off a little bit. And Agile, thanks very much for that. So let's see. Poor kid, great old ones. Uriah got a free membership as well. And let's see, Dean Windemuller. And finally, Dueling Dragon Adventures received a gift membership. So, congratulations to all of you. And I will be giving out some free memberships as well. And memberships do have their privileges. So, if you go into my Discord channel, you can always find the links in the description of videos. You jump into my Discord channel, let me know that you're a member, and it doesn't even matter if you've received a free one or not. And I will give you the role of member while you're still active on you, and you will have access to any of my one shots, or any of my gaming, my regular gaming groups. If there's an opening, I know I'm going to at the convention. I actually filling up an opening for my Fallout game. So I've been running that with just 4 players. One of the players had to break away, return to work. So congratulations to him for returning to work from a medical leave. And so, good to hear that he's going back to work. But unfortunately, it opened up a spot in my Fallout game, and that was already filled just from this convention. So that's pretty cool too. I will get to the topic of this post, so don't think that the title was clickbait. I'm going to talk about the post convention surprises that were on my doorstep. Um, so anyway, yeah, clickbaiting actually became a pretty interesting issue that was coming about, and it's kind of running through all of the content creators, YouTube content creators, mostly the big guys, not so much us small peeps here on YouTube. But anyway, it's a hobby training thing. Yes, not a master profession. I see. Oh, that's cool. Um, so let's see. Shorts are primarily for mobile devices. I know. Yeah. Um, hey, Takato, how's it going? And so let me get to some of my little points here. Now, I am going to I'll put the link out if anyone wants to join in. Yeah, the clickbaiting is the hot topic, and I was actually talking mostly with Professor Dungeon Master, both on Thursday night, and then we started talking about it even more so on on Saturday. And then I actually was also talking to, I talked to quite a number of people, like Baron DeRop and Ben Milton a little bit on the subject. Stephen Glicker definitely spoke to him as well, mostly Stephen Glicker and Professor Dungeon Master on that topic. And the bottom line is, as is very usual, people don't have the right knowledge of what words mean. And clickbait means something completely different than what they're trying to say there. And that was something that certainly a conversation I was having with Professor Dungeon Master was that clickbait, certainly to me, and I think that this is a pretty standard definition, is when the title of your video either makes a claim that you don't prove, or it's talking about a topic that you don't address in the video itself. It's like a totally different topic than what your title would lead you to believe. It doesn't mean that it's a title that draws people in to watching it. It just means that it's a title that, clickbaiting is a title that doesn't match up with the content of the video. So none of what they're doing really falls into the category of clickbait. And I don't even think it's in my opinion. I think that it's by definition, it doesn't. But anyway, let's see what some of the contents are doing here. So the issue of clickbait is caught in an echo chamber right now. Yes, Professor Dungeon Master and Guy from How to Be a Great DM have been all over my feed this last week. Yeah, and the others are chiming in too, and you have like Esper the Bard, which I have to be honest with you, I never heard of Esper the Bard before until just this past clickbait controversy thing came up, or since Guy, How to Be a Great GM, talked about his declining in viewership, I guess, and going to YouTube, and YouTube basically telling him that he needs to change up his channel, do something different, because it's not going to get within the algorithm. The algorithm is not going to push his channel anymore. I also got into conversations about that over this weekend as well, with many of these content creators, and again, they're much larger than me, like 100 times larger than the one that, maybe not 100 times, but certainly, certainly 20, 30 times, larger than I am. And so, I mean, maybe I was a little bit glib with some of them, where I was like, I don't envy you for, what things you have to deal with as far as that's concerned, because when I put out a video or I put a live stream out, I'm more interested in the comments than I am in the clicks and the views and those kinds of things. Um I'd rather have 20 or 30 comments that are thought-provoking comments, or comments that will spark the idea for another video in the future, than I am to have 2,000 views and no comments. But the algorithm doesn't necessarily work like that. The algorithm will look at 2,000 views in that first hour and be like, boom, this is something that everybody wants to see, and not look at the fact that that 2,000 view video has 3 comments on it. I'd rather have that, very much flipped the other way. And so I've always valued comments more than views. Now, not that I don't want views, but the comments are more important to me. It's a little bit more of what I'm looking at. And bottom line is, and this is something that both I and Eric Tankar has spoken about too. Um, you know, both of us are pensioners. Both of us are on pensions. Both of us have, I have a part-time job as just post-retirement to keep myself, busy and, and out of the house 3 days a week, for a total of, 12 hours a day, a week. And that's just because I enjoy doing it. And what I do on YouTube, although it's nice making $60 a month or whatever it turns out to be, um, and it helps buy me more games, and put more content on the channel with that. But it's not something that I'm going to support a family on. And so that's why I said, like, I really don't envy you for your position, because these guys with 100,000 subscribers might be making, they might be making 1,500 or $2,000 a month, and they really have to think about, well, hey, I don't want to lose this. Or they probably make even more than that. But you get my point, I hope. So let me get back to some of these things. Stephen is hilarious and always good for an opinion and knowledge of what is going on. And Professor DM is a great guy and knows the situation quite well. Yes, he does, and they both do. And they were both really interesting, to talk to them. One of the things that really did surprise me is that, and at some point I was thinking, like, are they just being gracious? Because I walked up and I introduced myself to them. um Once in a while I mentioned, this is my channel, but in some of the cases they were, oh yeah, I've seen you, in one of my comments, or I've responded to your comments, I've seen your channel, in some cases. So I was kind of like a little bit surprised that a number of people actually said that they've watched my channel. So, and these are big channels. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty impressive. That people just know of me. But anyway, uh, so that was a really interesting conversations that I had with a number of these people that were kind of on the same page as far as some of these things are concerned. Hey, great old ones. And let's see. It's nonsense. People are talking about YouTube canceling D&D creators is fake news. Fact. Your channel has been seeing real growth at the same time other creators saying they are victims of YouTube. Well, I mean, this month has been a phenomenal month. I'm going to say that this is probably my largest growth month in the history of my channel. And that is almost solely credited to the videos that I have been doing, where it's AT&D first edition for the modern player. I mean, absolutely exploded the subscriber count on the channel, with a lot of views. Hundreds, if not even a little over. I think the first one has a little over 2,000 views, which is phenomenal for my channel. I have probably a handful of videos that are into the multiple thousands of views. But that's one of the things that I told him. I was like, I forget who said it, which YouTuber out there, might even been DM James said it, that in our hobby of tabletop role playing games, you can no longer have a YouTube channel that is monogamous to a single game. Now I know uh, Professor Dungeon Master does this. I know that Ben Milton does this as well. That they do mix it up and they do have other content than just 5e. I think that the 5e content creators on YouTube are seeing a more severe drop off because there's only so much that you can talk about that game system. They've been doing it for 10 years, or so, uh, virtually nonstop, and in a very monogamous way. And so there's only so much you can talk about a single game system, and they've been doing it for a decade. So of course it's going to drop off after a while. You don't need that many YouTubers talking about the same game system, and so the only time that they're going to really get a big jump is with these, with the controversy surrounding it, and even those seem to be dropping off as well. So I think more people are just moving on, like you say here, Ian Spires. So, oh, you double posted. So let's see. Richard, you are a legitimate, straight up guy. You always do the right thing. Well, no, I don't quite always do the right thing, but but I do appreciate it. I try to do the right thing, but it's sometimes it's sometimes I have to step back and think about some things that I might have done, and I'm big enough to apologize when when it's made clear to me that I've made a mistake, which I spoke about over this weekend as well. And so that's something that I'm glad that I did. And I'm glad that I got the response that I got as well. And then, there were some other interactions during, or at least there was one interaction that I had where, I tried to, extend an olive branch just because I was in person, and the other individual just acted like he never heard of me before, didn't know who I was, which is probably bullcrap, because he has me banned in every single thing, even both of my accounts. He has banned everywhere that that there is in the social network area. So I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure you know who I am, and that's it. So, but anyway, um, let's see more videos that aren't D&D, please. Oh, trust me, I have plenty. On my channel, there's not a lot of D&D videos. So if you compare it to all of the other videos, I've probably covered um, 60. I've probably covered at least 60 different tabletop RPGs. And let me jump right into on that point. So that's a great transition for me. I want to just start showing what showed up at my doorstep. So I got home from the convention today. I bought some new games at the I bought some new games at the convention, and then I found out that I had 2 boxes waiting for me. And so here we go. So I'm going to get rid of this comment here so that we can see. So the first one, and this I accidentally bought a separate copy of it, and then the Kickstarter came through. So Advanced Crimson Dragon Slayer. So this came in. I got to see how I can flip the view on this camera. Let me see. I don't want to disable camera. I want to see. I don't know how you do that. Sometimes it just reverses it. I have no idea how to do that right now. If anybody can tell me how to flip the view, please let me know. So it will change. Let me see if it does that here. Mirror camera. Let's do that. There we go. I figured it out myself. So Advanced Crimson Dragon Slayer. I'm going to do a little cursing here because I'm reading titles. So, The Chalt Experience, designing worlds like a fucking boss. All right. Primordial Chaos. So this was actually the Kickstarter, the Prime, and then the others were print on demand, or at least soft cover versions of what was on only PDF. And so now Primordial Chaos, Gonzo Like a Fucking Boss. And I love Venger Satanis' stuff. I mean, look how awesome that cover is. Only getting that from him. Game mastering like a fucking boss. So this was something, and I, give a shout out to Venger Satanis there, because I mean, he produces some really cool stuff, and I just love Chalt. I love this setting. I love his aesthetic, and I love his writing style too. Now I ended up with 2 of these, which means that at some point I'm going to give the other copy away on the channel. I'll see how to go about doing that once I have a nice collection of a bunch of things that, as I get new versions of some game systems like Adventures Dark and Deep, I'm getting the 2nd edition. And I have 3 books that are now going to be condensed down into 2 much larger volumes. And so those 3 books, I'm going to be giving those away. Maybe I'll do a donation for like an auction at a convention, or I might just, figure out a way to give them away on the channel. Like I've done that in the past, where I was like, well, if we hit a certain amount of super chats, then that will cover the cost of actually mailing some of these things out, as long as you're within the United States. Unfortunately, it's too expensive as of now. Maybe that'll change in the next couple weeks, months or so, but hopefully that will start going out there, and start lowering those shipping costs. So let me get back to some of your comments. So, Traveler Champion Cyberpunk 2020. I actually started. I was going to try to start streaming Cyberpunk 2077. The RPG, the computer RPG. But I wasn't getting the sound to work right, so I got to figure out why I'm not getting sound. I think I have to have it going through the mic, and the headset, and then actually using the headset, and then it will work. So I was going to do that. Another thing you're going to see me starting to cover is, now, of course, I'm going to be going through these and talking about each of these on their own, but I also picked up Mighty Protectors, which is really Villains and Vigilantes, 3rd edition. This was my favorite. This was my favorite supers from back in the 80s. And so I told Jeff D at the convention, I was like, if you can sell me on 3.0, then I will buy it. And he said, well, come to my table and I'll see if I can convince you to pick this up. And so I went to his table and he was pitching it to me. And I said, yeah. I said, you sold me on it. I took the $30 out of my wallet, and he was like, oh, you're serious? You're going to buy it? I was like, yes, I'm going to buy it. I said, now it had a little tab on there that was like what you put on when you have a stack to sell. And this was the last one. He says, that's actually the last soft cover that I have. I said, well, I'm not interested in hardcover anyway. So I'm happy that it's the last one. And I, walked away with it, very happy. So I just picked up the PDF. So I will start covering this as well. So you will see some Mighty Protectors V&V 3rd edition on the channel, plus other things as well. So let me get to the next one. So another Kickstarter was on my doorstep when I got home, and that is Dungeon Denizens. So this is Goodman Games DCC RPG. Now I must have backed this a long time ago because I just don't remember. I mean, they've been sending a lot of, they've certainly been keeping up with the Kickstarter and the comments and the updates and everything. But I mean, this is a monster book, and it is, it is 550 plus monsters plus 20 exclusive bonus monsters, and it also came with the Kickstarter stretch goals, all the stretch goals here in a packet. It does have some 5e conversion stuff, which I won't use, but everything else, it's probably one of the last things I will pick up from DCC for a while until I, get back into actually playing it or certainly running it. I will like to, just hold off on DCC stuff until, like I said, I actually start using it. But that was my return home, and looking at the stuff that I, had on my, on my dining room table in their boxes, and I busted them open. I was like, all right, cool. I got all of this stuff, and now I'll start covering that. And then I'll continue with some other things to get back to your question. I know I was digging through Traveler back a while ago, and I will get back to it again. I know Shauner's passing kind of took me a little bit out of the looking at Traveler as intensely as I was at the time. I don't have Champions and Cyberpunk. Once I get that sound issue working, I will probably do some Cyberpunk 2077 and give you guys some computer RPG stuff, which I don't spend enough time on. So let's see. That has been a good series. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it has been a good series. I've been getting a lot out of the AD&D for, first edition for the modern player, and I still have, quite a few videos to go in that series. I think that now I'll start talking about setting pieces, and I'm going to push Greyhawk for it, because to me, Greyhawk is for AD&D First Edition, and that's probably less so the case with the latter editions of Dungeons and Dragons, because they had far more settings than AD&D First Edition did. Call of Cthulhu, yes, I will do some Call of Cthulhu, and my real thing is the second edition, which you see in the big white box set behind me, and I will get back to that. I was actually running, a campaign of that, and I might get back into doing that as well. Trying to add a lot more mini campaigns to my playlist, and I'm going to keep these very small groups, or even just single players, and myself, and perhaps 2-hour game slots. Will run for a couple of weeks, then I'll switch up players, switch up game, and do something else along that way. That way I get to run a lot of what I have behind me that I don't really get a chance to run that often, or at all in some cases. Yeah, the Adventure Dark and Deep Beast series is like, that book is like, gosh, it's almost like the Weird Frontiers books, the DCC Weird Frontiers books. It must be like 500 pages or more. I can't wait. I finally figured out how to get them ordered on my drive-through. My drive-through, I had to go through the Legacy drive-through in order to get my my codes and everything to work. So I'm still waiting to find out what's going on with that. Let's see. I like Venger. You own most of his stuff, but Crimson Dragon Slayer is still D&D. No, wait, please. How is that D&D? How is this possibly D&D? Come on, Bo. It's just because something has hit points. It has three. It has three attributes. It doesn't even. it has. Let me get a stat block and just see like how is it, or a character sheet. I mean, all they have. So I don't see how you get D&D out of this character sheet here. And the ones for like the basic Crimson Dragon Slayer are even more trimmed down. But looking at this, you have name, you have level, you have race, you have saving throw, just one saving throw. You have class, you have armor class, you have alignment, you have hit points, you have background and features, you have wealth. And the wealth alone is very unique to this as well. You have gold pieces, you have talons, you have Federation credits, you have polyhedron dice, which are wealth. You have Zulex, you have gems, crystals, obsidian, bloodstones, turquoise, bones and teeth is a wealth. Puzzle pieces, jelly beans, meow meow beans, petrified Fruit Loops, casino chips, Monopoly money, popsicle sticks, Ethereum, and pornography as a currency. Lavender moons. I got to relook at this. Like I said, I haven't read through this in a while. I have to see what some of these things are. You have a sleaze factor for your character. You have divine favors for your characters. I mean, it's not even remotely D&D when you look at the more simplified version of it as well. There's only 3 stats that every single character or monster block has. So I believe it's just armor class hit points, and one other. I'd have to grab it off my shelf to recall. I'm trying to decide if I want to order it on drive-through or pick it up at a con if Joe was there. Yeah, it was when you pick it up at a con, Joe will take down your email address, and then he will send you the he'll send you the link for the PDF. So whether you buy it in person or online, you're going to get both the print and the PDF. Yeah, but Christmas Dragon Slayer is not strictly fantasy. To answer that, it's not strictly fantasy. Uh, the times that I've played it with him, we're on Charlton. They have laser pistols and they have other things that are exotic drugs and other things that are just not mechanized vehicles as well. So it is not a straight up fantasy. It's gonzo. It's a mix of all the genres into one. Hey user, how's it going? Uh, do you think the genre and/or setting of cyberpunk is becoming more popular in tabletop community, particularly AD&D any version? Um, no, I mean, I guess if we're looking at fantasy is still going to always be the primary genre in the tabletop role playing hobby. Certainly my opinion, but I think it kind of bears out when you look at what's being run. Um, I mean, this last con was Shadow Dark was everywhere, including everything that I ran was Shadow Dark this year. Um, but Shadow Dark was all over the place, and if it's not Shadow Dark, then yes, it is AD&D. AD&D. I'm sorry, it is 5e. I think Shadow Dark overshadowed 5e in this particular convention. I didn't see very many running 5e at all, unless they were they were segregated in their own little area for Adventure League, which I almost don't count that as being a true participant in the convention itself, because they just in a separate room doing their own thing, and not really, when you're walking through the main floors, the gaming space of these conventions, you're going to see all other games being run. And because of the nature of Adventure League, they do kind of isolate off into a separate section. That's by their design. I think it really hurts them because it makes it, it takes it out of sight, out of mind. Whereas at the tables, we try to put it, in sight, in your mind, to see that, hey, there's other games out there for you to play. Let me get this. Let me get the invite out there. So there is the invite. Anyone's welcome to join in on that. So it has class alignment and saving throws. It's a simple, yeah, but that's all it has. You can't say it's D&D. I mean, so many other game systems that aren't even remotely D&D still have class alignment and saving throws. So it's whether it using a D20 system, it still doesn't make it D&D either. You need a lot more for it to be derived from D&D than just a couple of these little components. We're not saying that, let's think, well, no, even Daggerheart's is not derived from D&D either. So it's, yeah, but not all D20 systems are Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, or even derived from Dungeons and Dragons. It's like you have all of the Modifius games that are either 2D20 systems that are not Dungeons and Dragons or remotely related to Dungeons and Dragons. So it's just not. It's if it does not have the attributes. If you don't have the 6 attributes, and all you have is rolling a D20, that doesn't make it Dungeons and Dragons. So it's just that's just a dice mechanic. That's just a simplified version of the D100 system. It's like, all right, instead of dealing with the individual pips, we're just going to deal with, groupings of 5 instead. So it's just a more streamlined version of running. Otherwise you could argue, all 2D10 systems are percentile systems. They're all GURPS, or any game that has no levels or no class features. They're all GURPS, or any of those other systems that are a straight up system, a skill based system. Yes, I do. I do run the torch timer. Of my 3 games that I ran this, game sessions that I ran this convention, 2 of them I used the torches because they were indoors. Whether it be in in caverns, or a dead city and inside buildings. But the third one was mostly a wilderness adventure, and so they needed the torches. They needed 3 torches for campfires that they had to start, and I used the ration system. So you have to burn a ration for every single character in the party, plus 3 torches collectively, 3 torches amongst them in order to do that. In order to actually get a rest. Otherwise, they would they could not regain their spells. They could not get a full rest. They would not gain any hit points back from that rest. And my party really didn't realize it, that the last group that I ran, through that, some of them at least were out of rations. So I didn't deal with them making their trek back home again, but they would have had a hard time doing it if it wasn't constrained by a 3 hour, time frame that we were working with the, with the timing of the convention parameters. So yes, I do use it. I really like it. I think the players enjoy it too. It kind of reminds them of, it's good for timekeeping in a convention too, because it just reminds you, oh geez, it's time to, we have an hour left, or we have 2 hours left, or whatnot. Well, it won't be in this one, but I'll put my Discord. I'll put my Discord info up in 1 second. Let me just close this out and open up my Discord, and I'll put an invite for the Discord up. So be sure to use this within 7 days, because I'm not going to go through the extra steps of making it unlimited. So anyone's welcome to join the Discord and jump right in there. Like a leper colony. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, and how's it going, Paul? Good to see you. Yeah. Chuckle snort. So there's my Discord channel. You're welcome to jump in on that. And yeah, actually, I'd like to get a lot more people on there as well. I don't push my social media enough. So I have a YouTube channel, obviously, and then I have you can find me on other. You can find me on Discord, obviously, and let's see. So we already got Agile Monk in there. I'm going to wave back at you, Agile, and I am going to add you as a friend. So, and then I can add a role to you, and you are a player. You are a player. From I was recently just watching Lucifer, and there was that one, the Players Club episode. So yep, all is said and done there. You are most welcome. Yes, you are indeed. Let's see. So yeah, Ian, you're in there now too, and I just added you as a friend, and I will add a role, and we'll sort out the rest of the roles. This one I can do a lot faster. I can just hit you up with player, and then if you're a member, then just let me know once you're in, and I'll add that on there as well. So anyway, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? So post-convention surprises. Well, during the convention surprise, and I know some people are going to, some people will respond to this, and so I met some people in person that just never had the opportunity to meet before, and some of you already know where I'm going with this. So I met J. Scott Garibay in person, and I will be completely honest with you. I had always known, just had the idea that meeting him in person, he was going to be very much different on the than he is on the internet, and I always knew he was going to be, you know, a gracious person, a pleasant person to meet in person. And so, and I was not surprised that, that's exactly, how he came off when um, the first person told me that he was there was Eric Tenkar, and Eric was like, "Hey, Rich," he says, "Guess who I just saw at at his." Eric Tenkar was giving a seminar on YouTube channels, along with some other YouTubers out there, and so Scott was in the audience, and Scott was asking a lot of questions and everything. And so when it was all said and done, Eric happened to be walking up the aisle of the convention center, and he told me, it was like, "Hey, Scott's here." So I was like, "Really?" I says, "I wanted to, I want to meet him." So I went looking for him, and I found him, sitting at a table, talking to another individual. And I just waited a few minutes. And then once I saw, the opportunity, I went in. I said, "Hey, Scott, I just wanted to, you know, um, just wanted to say that it was never my intention to, say anything personally disparaging about you. I mean, we may never agree on gaming, certainly not agree on Wizards of the Coast or 5e or any of that stuff. But it was never my intention to, disparage you personally, And we shook hands. He said, "Hey, that's all water under the bridge, basically." And, we both agreed that, on the internet, sometimes yeah, you kind of you say things that you would normally not say in person, and it's exactly right. I mean, it's we all get wrapped up in ourselves when we're on the internet, and so it was a very pleasant conversation. We spoke for about 20 minutes or so. Then he congratulated me on being a special guest. He was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." He says, "So well deserved and everything," which really, again, these were things that didn't need to be said, and yet they were said. So, and then we came across each other again on the next day, and so I asked him. I said, "Well, what are you playing? Like, what do you?" And he says, "Well, I'm doing mostly seminars and everything." So I told him, I was like, "Listen, I'm running Shadow Dark at 7 p.m. tonight. If you're still around, you're welcome to join my game." And you know, now when I went to my Nerdarchy game. So Nerdarchy Ted was running Zoo Mafia, and there was Scott at the table with me as well. So that was, I was like, wow, that's really, cool. And he, we played through that play test basically of their new game system that they're working on, their new game that will be a Kickstarter at some point. It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun, and I started to pick up some things about the way that Scott plays. And then when he came into my game, all right, which was set in the Conan universe, so set in the Hyborian Age, and it was Shadow Dark and had some of my own little tweaks to that game system, and then my own play style. So, Decado, this adventure well because you ran it with me, or I ran it for you at ShireCon, and it was exactly that thing with some tweaks that that some of the other players like Bob had given me, some ideas about how it could be better presented and everything. Make sure everybody has their own set of rules so they can see how the system works and everything. And I got an even better impression of how Scott plays. And the one thing that I will say is that he plays he thinks about what he's going to do, and maybe to the slight point of maybe overthinking a little bit, and not seeing that there might be a simpler way to do something, because I think he is very cerebral in that sense, that he's really thinking, trying to see the best way of doing something instead of necessarily doing the thing that is most is either most direct or most. But he wasn't afraid to get into combat, which was another thing that kind of surprised me. And um and our running through at Takata was not as there weren't as many combats as you guys encountered either. So they made some different choices, and they avoided several different combats. So the only combats that they really had was with the actually, I should say, the only combat that they really had was with the Remoras. They avoided all the other combat chances just by their choices, because there were different branches, as you know, and they chose the branches that didn't lead to combat. And The Remoraz fight was a pretty good fight for them. They didn't engage with the Vanir or the Azir, so they didn't take that. And there were 7 players, and 4 of them died on the ice bridge walking across, and only 3 of them got inside the cave to see the final boss. And fortunately, they decided, we're going to just leave, because I made it pretty clear to them that just by trying to get them to understand, just from what they're visualizing and what they just experienced already, that the chances of them actually beating this thing, and I think the image also helped them a lot in making that decision. And so I gave them a choice. I was like, if you do run now, I'm going to give everyone one chance to grab a shard of Ymir, and you have to roll at least an 18, a natural 18, in order to get a shard. And the 3 players that were surviving, the last player to rolled a natural 20. He was the only one that got out with the shard, but all 3 got out. They survived the adventure with a evidence that they actually completed the adventure. So, and that's a rare thing for that particular adventure, for everyone to, or at least some people, to survive and actually come out with the shard, because it's not really written for that to be. So it's a so it was a really good experience, and I was happy to meet Scott in person, um, and hopefully we don't talk too much about 5e with each other, or Wizards of the Coast, and we can keep it separate from that, because that is the real sticking point between the two of us. And so I will, you know, I certainly do not regret it. I'm actually glad that that I approached him, and I extended that olive branch, and he certainly accepted it very graciously, and it was a good experience. And he really loved the game. He really loved the session and how I ran it and everything. And you know I'm waiting to see if he comments about it on anywhere on his channel or whatnot. Just give me some honest feedback. I'd love to hear some really honest feedback. Of course, he's always welcome to come in. Someone said, "Oh, I wish you would interview Scott." I said, "I've already interviewed Scott. You can go back on my channel and you can see the where I interviewed Scott." And but he's always welcome to come on. I have only blocked 2 people on my channel. One person was making fun of the appearance of one of my players, and I won't accept that. And another person was saying very anti U.S. military member comments, that I was like, basically, fuck you, you're gone, kind of thing. So I believe only 2 people are banned from my YouTube channel. Maybe there's a third, but that's kind of where you have to go with me in order to get me to ban you. Um, my door is literally open to anyone that comes in, as long as you don't attack my comment, other commenters or my subscribers or my players, um, or the U.S. military, then you'll be fine. Um, yeah, oh yeah, he's definitely a thinker. Um, and perhaps a bit of an overthinker. That's the only thing that I'll say is that sometimes how's that expression go? You don't see the forest through the trees or something like that. I should know that comment better than I just said it. I first played high fantasy in 1980 and OD&D in 1981. Played and ran a large number of games since then. Taught my kids and now my grandchildren. I love the hobby. This is a great channel. Well, thank you very much. Great old ones. Um, you have your grandkids playing Call of Cthulhu? So that would be a cool thing. I love that game when I was younger too. I mean, you expected to either go insane, die, or run away and look over your shoulder for the rest of your character's life. But it was such a great system. I don't know if seventh edition runs the same way. I own it. I've never run it. I've never actually really covered it either. I should get into doing a comparison between the two. Second edition that I played extensively in the 80s and now this edition. So on the topic of new videos coming out, and different game systems, you'll see something along those lines. Yeah, none of you made the roll. Um, yeah, no, I think you only lost two players on the ice bridge. Um, yeah, they just had terrible rolls on that bridge. Yeah, well, like I said, I try not to get personal, and if I do slip into getting personal, I am certainly willing to apologize for it, and hopefully we move on. All right, so let's see. Until you have stood a post or fought for a country, don't criticize those that have are doing so. Yep, it's pretty much it. And I was looking at another YouTube channel, and they were talking about this Rolling Stone magazine article that came out about recruitment woes for the military, and it was like, you're a freaking investigative reporter, not even a veteran yourself, and you think that you're going to solve the recruitment roles or woes, I should say. So I was like, I could give a comment here, but that person's that person's YouTube channel is one of the ones that I'm absolutely blocked from, and he says I don't exist in his mind. So anyway, um, COC for early teenagers. Probably get them to play the Mythos collectible card game first to pique an interest. If they're teenagers, they can do it. I did it as a teenager. Um, oh, you made it across the bridge. Yeah. Well, I know the ceiling collapsed on your group. At least two of your members did not get out, and that's how they died. They died in the very last moment of the adventure. Um, so let's see. Anyway, let me throw the invite back up there again if anyone wants to jump in. And so that's the invite for the stream, and the Discord invite is above. And I'll check Discord to see anyone else jumped in. I'm not really a player. I'm reading Agile's comment in there. And I'm sure Yep, Ducato has some. Oh my gosh, that's a Minotaur. Uh, cool painting. I mean, geez. So I'm gonna try to paint the. I'm gonna try to paint this guy Ducato. So this is the Philly cheesesteak mimic, and so I am going to give it a shot in painting this mini here. Um, I'm going to do a travesty of it. Um, it's not going to work out well, but I will give it my best shot. Uh, it's a really nice mini. It's pretty cool. You can see got all the teeth, that long tongue, little saliva that's down over here at the bottom, pulled up saliva here. The whole string of four eyes on top, and then the long tongue, and then something on the inside as well. So it's going to be a tough one to paint, but I'll give it a shot. He tried saving one of them and missed the roll. Yeah, it worked out. It's actually I've tweaked it a little bit. I've added the Remoraz, which you guys didn't have in the time you ran it. I thought, yeah, I should give an encounter there. That's just another, possible encounter. Or it was in yours, but you didn't trigger it. It takes 3 falls on the ice to get its attention. And then there's a chance for it to show up, and it did in their case. So, yeah, so I mean, it was a great convention. It was, it was a great trip home. It only took me, it would have taken me a little bit less than 3 hours to get home, but I had to stop for gas and breakfast. I cut out of the hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning because they were like, well, we're not serving breakfast until 7. I was like, nah, my wife wanted me home, in time to drive my daughter to work if I needed to, if the snow was already, falling by that point. So I left at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I got home at like 9:24. But I killed about 30 minutes getting gas and getting breakfast. Yeah, you guys avoided it. Um, that wasn't a real tough battle, to be honest with you. And actually, like they had a slightly larger group than you did. I think you had like 5, maybe 6 players. They had 7. So with the 7th player, I upped the hit points on the thing as well. Hey, Rob, it was great to meet you in person, Rob. And I am going to be bringing these to 2 local gaming shops, right? So Rob gave me a handful of these things, so I'm going to split them up, and I'm going to bring them to. There's a large gaming store in a mall over here called Kirwan's, and so I'll bring about half of them there, and then there's a comic book shop that I used to go to. That's where I got some of my newer Conan the Barbarian comic books, the heroic signature ones, not Dark Horse, and so I'll bring the other stack over there and say, hey, if you don't mind, just to put these on the counter, and if anybody looks like they're interested in tabletop role playing games, if you would just hand them out. And so I will take care of that, and I'll let you know if I run out of them. If you want to um, send me some more, but hopefully not. Like hopefully, this is enough to get about 20 more people signed up for it. At least 20 more people. Hopefully, they bring some friends as well. So, but yeah, it was great to meet you and your friend. Have your buddy sign up on my Discord, and put in his name there, and make sure that he tells me, hey, I met you at the, because he's going to be in my Fallout game. I have the slot open for him, so let him know that he is absolutely welcome to join, and you will be, he'll be there, and I'm still going to run Fallout at at Central New York RPG Con. I'm just going to tweak it up a little bit and make it more con ready than it is right now. Yeah, I'll let you know if I need more. Um, yep, it's good to see all of you here, and so Takano, Roger, I'm going to, and I will see you at Central New York. I know that Eric Tankar is going to be there as well. It always slips my mind. I don't know if is Joseph Block going to be there as well, Roger? I think he is. I think he said he was, but I don't. I'm not 100% sure. I spoke to so many people at that con. I'm sure you did too. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure if Joseph was going to get out there. You have Greg Gillespie going. That's probably what I'll end up picking up. Uh, that's probably what I'll end up picking up. Dragon Slayer RPG is at your convention. Um, but I'm going to do the same thing I did with Jeff D. I'm going to say, pitch it to me, sell me this game, sell me on this game, and I will buy it. And we'll see how his pitch was, how his pitch goes, and that'll be cool. And I think you have some other. Will be a special guest, yes. So that'll be cool. Yeah, by then I'll have Adventures Dark and Deep, the second edition of it. We haven't announced it yet. You just have now, because probably everybody that follows him is on my channel anyway. So you probably have just revealed it. So this was the big reveal. So don't tell anyone. Yeah. Now that at least the 20 people that are here now know it, and I'm sure they will spread the word. So yeah, I had a lot of difficulty, and it's all drive-through difficulty with it not recognizing. I had to use the legacy login and the legacy presentation of their website for me to get the purchases I made, the last two purchases, all of a sudden, just to get them to work on my publisher account. The official post is coming next week. It's already done. It's the cat's out of the bag, Roger. So I'm sorry if I did a reveal that that wasn't meant to be, but that's why this is unscripted and unchained, right? Yes, it's going to be a blast. I'm definitely, I'll definitely be looking to run some games there that are going to be new. Although I am probably going to, and like I said to you at the convention, I'm only running stuff that I wrote. So if I do run 3 games, I got to look at the schedule. What did I put? Tabletop. Oh, I hate this thing that doesn't bring up the way I want it. I had to erase all my cookies trying to fix drive-through RPG, and so let's see. I think I got to come down here. Yes. So host submissions. Oh yeah, I'm running those three. I'm still running these three games. So I will be running at, I can share screen. Let me share screen. And so here we go, everyone. So these are my submissions. I'm running Shards of Ymir Shadow Dark. All right. That's the game I was just talking about. The Horror from the Mound, Deadlands second edition. So that is a Robert E. Howard Weird West story. And finally, Vault 67, The Awakening, which is Fallout RPG 2D20. So those are the three games that I am running. It is Saturday morning. How do I have two? I have, Sunday morning. Yes. So those are the three games that I'm running when I get there. And then right after Sunday morning, there's nothing earlier than 10? I might want to push that earlier than 10, if that's at all possible. Oh, this has it bubbled to here so I can see it as well. I didn't realize it does that. And can I move this? No, I can't. So those are the three games that I will be running there. And yeah, Roger, if there's earlier time slots than 10 a.m., just let me know, because I might look to do an earlier time slot on that Sunday. So I always look to get home earlier on the last day of a con anyway. So I'll stop sharing. I should have done maybe this for that share. Let me see if that works out better. Maybe you can almost see it better. So, oh, it's still tiny. Why? Oh, there we go. That's a little bit bigger, but it's not. That's probably closer better. Still messing around with this thing, trying to figure that out. So you want to play Deadlands? Yeah. Yes, I will be running Deadlands. So, and that adventure is cool. You're going to like that adventure. We plan on starting at 10 a.m. That would be 10 to 2. I'll probably get home around 6-ish. It's not terrible. Yeah, nothing on 10's kind of late to start, especially on the, on the first day of the con, it's fine. But on the second day of the con, that's but hey, it is what it is. We planned on 10. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, I'm running 3 different game systems there. And I have one, at least I don't have to do anything. The Deadlands one, I'm just converting from Weird Frontiers to Deadlands, which will actually be easier to do. And Fallout is the only one that I have to tweak it and make it a little bit more easy for, not easy game wise, but easy to run in a convention setting. Yeah, I'm telling you. So anyway, so yeah, if you can be in Utica, New York, June 14th and 15th of 2025 from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., that's a Saturday and Sunday, then that is the convention schedule for for Rogers Convention. Let me see what else I wanted to bring up. So that's really pretty much everything that I was going to bring up during the stream. If anyone wanted to, chime in with anything or, talk about anything that's been bouncing around. I've been kind of just in such a mode of doing, playing through the convention and everything. I'm figuring out this convention running gig as I go. Yeah. Um, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I really do give you a lot of credit, and that's something else I said to to another convention organizer as well. I really do expect, respect the fact that you really stick your neck out when you're running a convention, especially for the first time. To be honest with you, it's not something that, again, I would envy doing. I'm like, I don't have that kind of organizational skill to bring something like that together. Um, because I just don't have the people around me that, that could assist like that. I mean, you have your right hand man with you, helping you out with the stuff too. So yeah, I certainly don't have that at my disposal. So um, so I really appreciate the fact that you're doing it, so I don't have to, basically. But yeah, yeah, I'm gonna keep on plugging away on on the con, and like I said, as soon as I get a chance, to to the um, get out to the two comic book stores. That probably won't be until like Friday because I'm working. I'm working not tomorrow, but tomorrow we're supposed to have snow. But I'll see what's going on later on in the week, and I'll certainly hit both places on Friday. So that'll be cool to do. Um, yep, it's a and yeah, it's a great place for me to hang out too. I really do enjoy everyone that comes in here and is chatting and just you know putting up their comments and asking questions. Yeah, you know what? My kids are 100% embarrassed by the fact by me doing this kind of stuff. And my wife isn't a gamer either, so it's like totally bizarre to them that to the point that like I tease my daughter, my younger daughter, particularly when I'm like, hey, I have 3,800 subscribers now, and she was like, nobody cares. It's like, or at the convention, the other thing that always gets her is, when people will see me, if I'm wearing my army veteran cap or if I'm using a military discount or something along those lines, and someone will say, "Oh, thank you for your service." She like she doesn't understand that you you sometimes get things for that. They'll give you a discount on something or what and whatnot and she's like, I don't understand. I was like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's just something that people appreciate, and I certainly appreciated those that came before me as well. And but with the gaming stuff, I tried to get them into it because they're huge Stranger Things fans, but they like Stranger Things for the boys. It's not has anything to do with the loose connection to Dungeons and Dragons that Stranger Things has. And I even bought that box set to try to get them to get into it, and they had no interest in it whatsoever. They were like, "Oh, I'm not even." That's too much reading. And my daughters love reading. So I was like, you read books all the time. And they're like, yeah, but we read our books all the time, not that stuff. So it's tough. Well, thank you. Thank your son for his service. I mean, I was fortunate enough not to, you know, not to get any injury that wasn't, that was combat related injury. I the worst I did was I dislocated my knee rappelling. So, but you know, be sure to thank him for his service, and his service was far more than mine. Just like I used to say about my father's. My father's was, World War II veteran, D-Day invasion, all the way through France, and you know, halfway across Germany, ending in Berlin, and being shot in the process, having to uh, liberated two concentration camps in France along the way. 19 years old, and came home with a full head of gray hair, and our experience was nothing in comparison. Certainly mine was nothing in comparison to his. So um, it's something that I fully support. That you know, you just give him full support. Yeah, the only games my wife plays are the ones on her handheld. So not like Candy Crush or anything. Although she used to play Candy Crush, but other games that are like coin collecting games and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. Um, you need to come on my show and interview me. Um, I I've only done like one interview before. Where someone asked to interview me. Oh, the Red Room interviewed me. I think that was the only time I've ever been interviewed was on the Red Room. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm forgetting. Um, I mean, I went on Legion of Myth, but not as an interviewee, more so just as another commenter on the channel, just like I, usually do. But um, trying to think if anybody else is. Oh no, Rolling Bones interviewed me as well. So I've only been on two interviews. I'd love to come on your show if you have a show and be interviewed. But I have my fair share of injuries, but I feel blessed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I only had a couple in. I only had a couple in the military, and they were all training related. Yeah, holy cow, 17 kids. Your grandmother was a veteran. It's in our blood. Nugget Buster. That is awesome. Dwarf's name is Nugget Buster. All right, that's cool. I will definitely love to be on your show, and I will promote it. I will push it out there, and okay, I see you in there, and I am going to add you as a friend and add the role, and I'll give you the player role first. That's the easiest one to give. And mine works. All right, so Zucker Jati, I got you covered. All right. You could use either one, doesn't matter. Shadow Dark General, good stuff. Banka. All right, Mac Thompson was thanking me for my Shadow Dark homebrew system. So anyway, all right, I'm going to, I'm going to turn off I'm going to turn off my Discord right now. You can all chat in here, in the meantime. So anyhow, so that's pretty much it for the wrap up on the convention and some of my new acquisitions, both from the convention and in my mailbox when I got home. Technically, my mailbox, and so be on the lookout on the channel for some additional coverage on the Mighty Protectors. Once I get my Adventures Dark and Deep books, I will be doing a whole slew of things for that. I will be going over Advanced Crimson Dragon Slayer and the various Chalt and Gonzo books that Venger has has put out in soft cover now from his Kickstarter, and I'll bust open Dungeon Denizens over the next week or so, and open that up and start going through that for you as well. And everyone, you all have a great night, and I'll be back tomorrow for some more videos because I have off from work tomorrow, so I'll be able to spend quite a bit of time tomorrow. Roger, if you're still here, let your friend know that I'm not going to run Fallout this Thursday because I'm actually working. It's a makeup day for me. Normally I would work Monday, but I moved my Monday schedule to Thursday because Monday's a holiday. So I will be working Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. So I will catch him hopefully by next Thursday, not this upcoming, but the following Thursday. And we'll have a great time. So everyone else, have a great night and enjoy, and keep on rolling those dice, keep on playing, play as many new games as you possibly can. And don't be monogamous with your gaming, and and just look to make those connections and everything. Let's all support each other, on our various channels and our endeavors within the hobby, and and just keep on rolling those dice, and may you all roll 20s. All right, as Professor Dungeon Master wrote on my on my copy of his Deathbringer RPG. So you'll have a great one. Thanks for stopping.